Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Now hopefully I have a great replay for you today as we have a 1v1 between Daywalker and rAndy. Now all I know is that this game goes on for quite a while, so make sure you're strapped in because you're gonna be here a little while. So this map, we see on the left side in red, rAndy as Armada, not going for the normal double mechs LLT sort of shenanigans that we see recently, as we literally zip over to Daywalker and that is exactly what he has done. Double mechs, LLT, solar, very standard start there from Daywalker, and he is going to be going vehicles. He is also Cortex. rAndy also going vehicles on this map. Makes sense. Metal extractors 2.3, quite a lot of metal coming out of these, so why not make the most of it? Now, I would say what I normally say when we play this map. Both players going to move towards the middle. The fight is normally going to be contesting around this middle line here. Someone will normally get control of that area and the other person will be in the defensive. However, both these players are super high skilled when it comes to 1v1s. rAndy with an OS of 58 and Daywalker with an OS of 54, so we're talking top tier players here. And both on the same clan as well, which is what the pro tag stands for. Now, I haven't seen much from Daywalker on the channel, but it's nice to get some videos out. We are going to see a bit of early damage here from rAndy. But this scout is... some unfortunate micro there from that scout getting caught on the factory. But, actually, surprisingly, doesn't get any damage. This LLT reality is going to stop that. And this scout over here is not going to be able to get anything either because rAndy has a bunch of scouts defending his base. So no early harassing going on today, although as I say that, rAndy doesn't have enough damage for the mechs. And he manages to mop up the scout. Daywalker securing his lines. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. All I know about this game is that it goes on for quite a while, so maybe we'll see some tech too. Don't often get to see it in 1v1s, but who knows? These top tier players here will probably have a nice surprise for us. And we are seeing some very greedy plays here from rAndy, pumping out his 4th engineer. Only scouts to defend currently. We also note that rAndy does predominantly off-place mexes. So you can see here that the metal point is here. We press F4. Metal point is here, but the mex is off to the side. Still gets full use of it. But it means that the metal points are closer to the LLT, making it harder for the enemy to push in. And if we look at Daywalker, he has kind of done the same in certain spots, but for example here and by the factory, but that's it. Daywalker building less engineers than rAndy. Daywalker also with less economy right now. He's really struggling with the energy front. A metal extractor does go down, but he's instantly prepared to rebuild it. And we see the first proper combat units out from Daywalker with incisors. At the same time, we see blitzes here from rAndy as well. So in terms of economy right now, Daywalker is a little bit behind. Not by much. Mostly because rAndy's got some expanding engineers here. He's got one here to the going to the south. The rest are in the base building economy. Daywalker's starting to get that now, as we see an engineer leaving the base, going to skirt around the top side. Ooh, we see a nice little bit of harass from this scout here. It's going to get the radar. Yep, Won't get anything more than that though, as the LLT on that south side clears that up quite well. What we do see queued up here is what we're seeing fairly a fair amount now, is using solars here as a wall, leaving a gap so units can still pass in and out, but it kind of stops some of that harass damage. Whereas we see Daywalker here just building a square of solars. Does mean the ones in the middle are going to be harder to kill, but it does give you no sort of defense against raiding attacks for the metal extractors, for example. And we see both players, commanders, Daywalker's going like this and rAndy's going like this. Once they've done that, they'll probably then swing around into the middle and start fighting for control of that section. rAndy here with a very sizable force, Daywalker spotting it and trying to pull the engineer back, but there is not enough incisors to deal with this, and a single LLT is not going to do much. The self-destruct on the LLT is because it does additional damage if it self-destructs. However, this is going to be a very nice harass. Going to get several X's before they all die. Whether they keep going or stop there, though, I would probably guess he might... Well, no, he's going to keep going. I was going to say he might stop there and fall back, but no. Manages to actually take out all of the defenses that Daywalker had built. Going to get that last metal extractor as well. And Daywalker now substantially behind in metal. It's going to put him on the back foot substantially. As we zoom out here, we see Daywalker with some strategically placed scouts here, just to give him some vision of expansion areas of rAndy. rAndy's got one such scout on this side, but that is all. Does rAndy see those blitzes to the south? He does indeed, and he's moving units to counter them. rAndy looks like he's moving his command up to secure the north side of Daywalker's area. And we see yet again Daywalker losing the front line here. And instantly falling back. Daywalker unfortunately on very heavy defensive posturing right now. When it comes to metal, we're talking 20 income for Daywalker, 41 for rAndy. Very far behind right now. Really needs to pick up the pace, get some expanding engineers on the go, and start picking it up. We do see some armed metal extractors coming up from Daywalker. Good choice. Ooh, we see a nice tank fight here as incisors and blitzes go at it. Again on the south side, but they get mopped up fairly quickly. That one incisor manages to get out in time. And it's now Daywalker's turn to return the payback and take out some of rAndy's mexes, but it's not really going to do too much. And we see the first main battle tanks on the field from rAndy. Daywalker yet to transition. That metal advantage that rAndy has is starting to come into play. He can afford the stouts, whereas Daywalker cannot. Surprised he's happy to let rAndy be this far forward at the north. He is trying to contest the south side, but just 4 incisors I don't think is going to be quite enough to really cause too much harass. Ooh, the self-destruct does nothing against those incisors, unfortunately. And he lets the engineer live. Not much to say at this point, as there's just mostly posturing. Daywalker looks like he's going to try and use all of his incisors he has in the middle to try and cut off this expansion that rAndy has on the south. Stouts are desperately trying to keep up, but they are not going to do much. The self-destruct goes off, unfortunately, a bit too early. And he does clear up a bit of space there. But at the moment, it's like this for rAndy, but only this for Daywalker. So this bottom area right now is a no man's land, as Daywalker has just cleared up what was there. But Daywalker is unable to capitalize on this south side no man's land, and with no stouts of his own, or brutes more like, he's not going to do too well. Pounders are an interesting choice here. I've seen these played before versus stouts, for the fact that they've got a substantial knockback effect, meaning that you can kind of stop stouts in their path. Oh, here we see a group of incisors going towards rAndy's comm. Is this going to be dangerous at all? No, as he just kites past. There is a very large field of laser towers on this north side. As we see 8 laser towers being built by rAndy. And that harass gets cleared up to the north. Surprisingly not clearing up this. Does he even see any of that? No, he does not. And unfortunate for Daywalker, the expansion that he does have is about to get mopped up. No armed metal extractors on that south side, and an engineer doesn't get killed. rAndy actually pulling back. Daywalker's comm, a bit exposed here, no units to protect. Now the issue is these pounders are very slow, so he's not going to be able to react to any incoming attacks. We do though see air coming out for both players. That must have been why rAndy pulled back. He must have got an alert that says aircraft detected. So he's pulled back because he knows shurikens are coming, so he doesn't lose his stouts. Again, some nice harass. Daywalker just forcing rAndy to have to send more units up there to deal with those incisors. No air defense built by rAndy yet on the north. Oh, that's not true. He's actually got one nettle and he's building a second one again. And here come the shurikens. But there is already a fighter up that's coming in to take care of the shurikens. A lot of the army has already been EMP'd though. And that fighter not doing a great job. Still 4 shurikens left. Air defense gone up from the commander. Fortunately, it takes 2 shots from the Thistle here in order to take down the fighters. Fighters are more expensive than the shurikens though, and that trade has gone in Daywalker's favour, I would say. He had mostly incisors rather. However, he doesn't have the units to capture that reclaim field, and that is 2.7k metal left there. And it will be interesting to see if we see any more shurikens being built. Yes, we do. Shurikens and fighters in a mixed method. Daywalker struggling on energy right now, has a vast amount of metal just sat in his bank, wasting metal right now, which is not good. We see main battle tanks versus battle tanks, or assault tanks versus assault tanks rather. And this reclaim is going to go entirely to rAndy, as there is a lot more stouts than there are brutes right now. Now sometimes what we often see is forward factories being built in these positions. rAndy could build a factory up here, and Daywalker could build a factory up here to get more reinforcements down there quicker. However, as both players went air, I don't know if we're going to necessarily see that. We also see missile trucks on the field here as a method of anti-air as well. And unfortunately, rAndy is going to get that additional 2k metal, putting Daywalker even further behind. So as we about to quickly check the stats, but rAndy's pushing a bit more here, forcing his way through the middle. Going to get these 2 engineers. Daywalker reacting and pulling them back. Again, his commander is very exposed at the moment to these group of stouts. And are we going to see some bombers coming out from either player? We are not. We are about to see, however, Tech 2 coming out from rAndy. He is surplusing metal right now. With that in mind, I believe. Or this fight in the middle. Brutes are having to turn around as they're about to get surrounded. Do not want to take that flank damage. And the shurikens come in with fighter support this time. Fighter support is not going to deal with the missile trucks though. And the shurikens get taken down fairly quickly. So it takes only a single missile to take out a shuriken. And the fight turns back into rAndy's favour. It's not looking good for Daywalker. Also with the fact that we know rAndy has Tech 2 coming, and there's another 2k metal on the field there in the middle. Let's quickly, while we have a second, check the stats here. Energy produced 433k for rAndy, 370 for Daywalker, so that's 50k behind. About 4k metal difference between rAndy and Daywalker, with rAndy having the more value right now. However, this push of stouts right into all the laser towers and brutes of Daywalker seems to be somewhat of a donation of metal here. Tried to force him off, but he didn't have the units to do it, and those missile trucks will pop very quickly if the brutes get on top of them. They are quite heavily damaged, but the reclaim field now is 5k metal in this middle section. rAndy has 3 engineers very close by, but the majority of that is down on this side where Daywalker's commander is. Missile truck can do a good job at causing the enemy player to have to attack you as well, because missiles will slowly just pepper you down. But Tech 2 is out, and he's gone straight for bulls. He's not got any Tech 2 economy up, just gone straight for that. And bulls will do a lot of work versus these brutes. Cortex vehicles are a bit more troublesome to deal with. Banishers do a lot of damage, but the Starlight, I think it's called, yep, uses a lot of energy, so you really need at least a fusion before you can use those. They are very, very strong though. And unfortunately Daywalker losing his engineer on the front line to the bulls. The forward vehicle factory does come up from Daywalker. Meanwhile, rAndy's comm is not really getting involved with the fight whatsoever. And we see 2 sets of armies here really trying to get that bull. Losing probably quite a few brutes just to kill 1 bull. But he knows he needs to get Tech 2 up, which he has already got. And we see some tigers here on the field pushing out here to counter the bulls. Shuriken's doing a great job here. Missile trucks are starting to come in, but it's going to be too late as most of the stouts here have been EMP'd. However, the reclaim field was mostly absorbed by rAndy. Now these engineers are very close to the spawn point of these pounders. And Daywalker doing a great job at holding off here. He's currently dealing with, like, let's see, 4 factories. Vehicle factory in base has stopped production. So is aircraft currently. This bull is very low health. Go down very quickly. Although nothing is actually targeting the bull, even though it's only got 3% health. There we go, bull is gone. And we see, interestingly enough, this bottom half of the map here is basically being completely ignored. So is this top half, with occasional flanks actually getting through. See rAndy here with a nice harass, but yeah, the shurikens will block that off fairly quickly. And this will just now slowly get taken out. We do see some gunships starting to come out here from rAndy, just to deal with these harassing brutes. And yeah, we see Tech 2. 1v1, 20 minutes in, and we see Tech 2, and neither player is in a winning position here. 3.7k metal on the south side, and Daywalker is the only one able to get any of that reclaim at the moment, and has a superior number of Tech 2 tanks. These gunships aren't going to do much, as the air superiority is definitely on Daywalker's side. As here we see some fighters coming in, dealing with it. These shurikens, though, are going to get taken out very quickly by the nettles that are there. But yeah, these tigers doing a fairly decent job. Got some flanking damage there from a single one. Are we going to see any banishers? We are. Some banishers coming out here. The only issue I have is that the Tazars are basically useless unless you've got some swarm coming in. And so it's mainly these two units that you'll ever see. And there's the banisher coming out. Half health, a scout in one hit. Gunships starting to cause a little bit of a problem, but now they're all mopped up. And the reclaim field on the south side has now been secured by rAndy. More fighters being produced by rAndy. This north side is slowly getting harassed by a single Tech 2 tank. But it's just on a fight move to slowly move forward. We'll eventually deal with some of the stuff there. Meanwhile, the fight is mostly focused on this south side. Banisher's been manually targeted against the bulls there instead of targeting the stouts. More shurikens being brought forward. Takes a while to EMP a stout, as you see. Good 4 or 5 shots. Daywalker wanting to play a bit of a long-range game here. You have the banishers just sat further behind, slowly firing rockets over. I mean, look at the range on that banisher. Quite a long distance that they can shoot, but they do target air, which does mean that their ground fire damage is not going to be quite so significant if he keeps targeting the fighters. The range on the banisher is very big. I always forget about the distance that it can cover. They're not slow either, but these bulls have been left to their own devices here. Daywalker definitely down on units. It'd be interesting to know whether it would be worth investing in some res bots right now. Oh, we see a starlight out. As you can see though, it only had half of a burst before it ran out of energy. Nice harass here on this north side. Going to take out a lot of Daywalker's economy. See a start of a Tech 2 economy going up on this side. See the fusion start to be built for rAndy as well. However, he only has a couple of Tech 2 mexes. One, I think. Just working on his second now. And unfortunately, Daywalker on the defensive again. Quickly checking the statistics here. Energy produced is now equal at 1.1 million energy each. rAndy has overflown a lot though. Metal produced is fairly similar. About 9k difference though, which is still quite a lot. Daywalker in a bit of an issue here, as he has nothing to defend against this army of stouts coming in, and his commander just assisting a Tech 2 engineer and maybe about to get surrounded. He now just realizes. And this is the first base type of attack we've seen in a little while. Get degunned pretty quick. No Tech 2 units are damaged in that attack. These stouts at the back will just get some free solar damage, but Starlights have the advantage here in range. Although they are very, very flimsy. And which is why we start seeing some tick spam. Well, not tick, sorry, rascal spam coming out from Daywalker. We see a bunch of scouts coming over, air scouts. What's the reason for the air scouts? Nothing yet. Another nice harass on the south side. It'll take a while for Daywalker to get some more engineers down to the south side to rebuild. Yes, Daywalker definitely in a more tough spot here. The issue you have with Banishers is their overkill. As you see here, they fired so many shots on that one area. They do a good job as we see these stouts just being obliterated. And the splash damage as well is definitely helping. All of the frontline units of rAndy being absolutely destroyed, leaving just the Starlights left. And are we going to see Daywalker make the most of this? As the Banishers slowly push forward, Scouts taking some of the hits from the Starlights. As the waste shots on Scouts are doing nothing. Missiles come pouring in from the Banishers. And are the tables about to turn? These will be big losses if these Starlights go down. 1 Starlight down, 2, 3, 4, 5. All Starlights that were on the front have been destroyed. And now Daywalker has the advantage. He has the only army. rAndy scurrying around trying to get what he can. We do see the start of some tick spam from rAndy here. This will help counteract the Banishers. Only if his own scout spam doesn't do the same to begin with. We see the separated tigers here from Daywalker harassing the economy. He's going to get some T2 metal extractors here. That's very big. Forcing rAndy back into his base. A fusion being built by rAndy as well at the same time here. No fusions up from Daywalker yet. We do see an anti-nuke from Daywalker though, which is very important because that scout that we saw go across earlier on could have been for a nuke, which we know it's not, but Daywalker doesn't. This has forced Daywalker though to invest substantial resources in an anti-nuke. And we see some very nice harass still from Daywalker. Doesn't get that second Tech 2 engineer, Tech 2 metal extractor, but this force on the south does get one here. Pop-up turrets going up to defend from the harass on that side. Daywalker still does not know where the commander is for rAndy. And a lot of units being built. We see flax coming out as well. No air defense units currently from rAndy. Daywalker's Banishers here pushing forward, destroying this whole front that rAndy had on the north. But it has meant that Daywalker's basically lost all of his frontline tigers that he had. These engineers are just going to get killed. 5.7k metal in the front. That's a lot of ticks building up in the middle as well. And what does it look like from his point of view? He knows the factory's up here. He can see them pouring out. So, Daywalker has an idea where those bot labs are. However, rAndy just keeps losing metal extractors. And meanwhile, Daywalker doing a great job here and actually just being able to rebuild. And all the ticks, because of the splash damage of the Banishers, not doing too much. He's hoping that the friendly fire from the ticks is going to do enough to cause him problems, which it will do if they start shooting themselves. Daywalker does indeed need some fusions. He has excess metal, not enough energy right now. And this game, 30 minutes in, still neither player has what it takes to finish it. Mass amount of gunships on the south side. Has no fighters though to really support them. We see our commentators saying that they need stuff. Fusion is going up, but nowhere near any of the construction turrets in order to assist. Any of these forces that are coming forward just get obliterated by the Banishers. People say that Cortex vehicles aren't that good. I mean, right now we're seeing Daywalker doing a pretty good job at dealing with rAndy's units. We are about to see the air battle turn though. There is a very large amount of gunships here, and they are about to come piling on these Banishers. Daywalker with no air left to defend. Be interesting to see if we're going to see any of the radar jamming units. The Obscuras would basically make the Starlights not able to do anything unless the ticks move forward. Also, Junos, maybe? He knows where the units are coming from. Chuck a Juno on there and there's going to be a massive pause in any of that tick production. May just force him to go to pawns instead, but still it's going to use more economy. And the gunships coming round. No air defense down here at all. This Tech 2 economy is going to go down very quickly. Flak's rushing to defend the south side, but it's not really going to help. We do see a pulsar going up in the middle. That is going to be tough for him to take down. And the Tigers trying to get to that back line, trying to get those Starlights dead. Also causing flanking damage on the Bulls when the Banishers do fire, but it does mean that there's a lot of friendly fire from the Banishers as well. Daywalker now has spotted the pulsar being built, and it's going to go up before he's even able to get close. 13 seconds until that's built. Banishers are not going to be able to get close. He's going to have to sacrifice everything to stop that going up, which is not advisable right now. Banishers, now with no defense, going to get surrounded by the ticks, and the pulsar is up and running. Doesn't have energy to fire right now. There we go, and we just see one Banisher go instantly up in smoke. And the middle has now become very difficult to push into. The range on this pulsar is huge, forcing Daywalker really far back. And yeah, I don't see how Daywalker can push in. Wow, that's how he can push in. Stealthy rocket launchers. That will be able to outrange that pulsar, as we see the attack range is fairly long. So again, seeing some great harass here. This is going to do a lot of damage, killing Tech 2, 1, 2, 3, oh, I just select them. 8 Tech 1 engineers as well. That's a lot of build power to go up in smoke. Not only that, but the economy buildings as well. That was not good from rAndy here. Big blunder. It's a devastating amount of build power to lose in one go. Meanwhile, we still see the tick spam here, causing rAndy to lose a lot of energy as all of these pulsars and tachyons are firing. Starlights. More Tech 2 economy going up from rAndy. Some great trades going on by both of these players, as we just see units get through and Tech 2 economy going up. Here come the missile launchers coming in. Fortunately, I don't think Daywalker has much units here to kind of field the incoming shots. Now seeing a lot less units here from Daywalker. We are actually seeing a tremor. Now that's interesting. You don't see those very often. Seeing more fusions being built. Now the reason for this is probably just to deal with the scout spam. Well, it is going to hit his own scout spam. Because this is just going to basically deny any scouts in that area. So yeah, and he also gets an engineer. I don't know if having it on fire at will is necessarily the best idea, as it's just going to bombard all of his own units. Banisher basically killed for free here. See, friendly fire damage. That is a very cost-efficient trade there. Some ticks for a Banisher. Not good. And could this be the beginning of the end for Daywalker? As rAndy's deciding to just go around his army rather than through it. But there is a significant Shuriken army on this north side. There's only ticks for it to stop. Meanwhile, the south side is Tech 2, Stouts and Bulls. Daywalker's not really scaled up his economy as well as rAndy has, but rAndy is currently floating a ridiculous amount of metal. 12k metal stored up. Just needs more build power, which he lost a lot of earlier on. Shurikens are doing their job on the south side, trying to delay this army coming in. He can't afford really to send units down there right now. Rest of the Shurikens that were at the north are coming down. And this one bull will kind of stop this tremor doing anything really at the north. Also, we're seeing more pulsars going up from rAndy. Never seen so much Tech 2 defenses in a single game. Be interested to know if we see any Tech 3 planned. We do. rAndy has Tech 3 planned. Gonna finish the fusion, probably get the advanced fusion up, and then go Tech 3. Fortunately, Daywalker is nowhere near that yet. Trying to get a metal maker economy up and running, but it's not looking good for Daywalker. This one fighter, Tech 1 fighter, coming in, doing God's work, killing out all of the Shurikens. Now finally got taken out. Again, Daywalker loses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Tech 2 metal extractors. Big economy hit there. As we quickly check the stats again while we're in this lull period. Metal produced. rAndy has produced 280k metal for Daywalker's 190. rAndy is almost 100k metal ahead of Daywalker. Meanwhile, energy produced is 4.5 energy to 3.4. Almost a million additional energy produced by rAndy. Huge differences in economy. And we're seeing that now on the map as Daywalker is being slowly but surely forced back into his base. Swarmed on all sides. Daywalker trying to hold on. One last bastion of hope he has, but it's not going to last much longer as more forces flank around the north and south side. He's trying to rebuild. Valiant effort here from Daywalker as he continues to try and hold on in the middle as well. The long-range missile trucks trying to do something here, but I think they still can't reach the pulsar. Yeah, reach the pulsar. To be fair, if he moved it up to the line, it probably would. But obviously he's busy elsewhere as we have this massive force of tanks coming in at the bottom. Shurikens are trying to come in and slow it down, but losing lots of build power. Daywalker. And Tech 3 is now up for rAndy in his base. It's we see this massive push across the middle. And this is one of the most high-tech 1v1s I have ever seen. So many explosions. So much fighting going on across the map. It's hard to keep track of it. And Daywalker had to pull forces back from the middle. Otherwise he was going to lose all of his economy on the south side. But this has given rAndy the opportunity to push through the middle. And the Starlight slowly picking off forces. And it's not looking good. We also see some Mausers out here, which is surprising. Just getting surrounded on every side. Daywalker taking fire from the north as well, right next to some advanced energy converters. Shurikens coming in as well, losing a bunch of solars on the south side from some stouts. This is not looking good. Mass amounts of Tech 1 air engineers though, here to just get as much reclaim as possible, try and get those metal extractors built. I mean, there's 1k metal here just from 2 bulls. So it's definitely worth having those out right now. But we see the ticks being changed to pawns. And this is going to go through the shurikens. And the banishers are not really going to be able to deal with this very well. He says, as most of the pawns go up in smoke, but surprisingly, I already pulled them back briefly. If he would have kept them going, he would have been able to get surrounding the banishers. Daywalker leaving these 2 stouts on the bottom side to just slowly harass his economy, focusing everything in the middle. Meanwhile, some nice harass at the north side here, but there's so many Take 2 defenses that these Tigers are not going to get anything done. Using fighters over rAndy's base to scout. Tech 3 vanguards on the field, surprisingly. And that long range damage has just massively hurt the banishers that we have here in the middle. Oh, but a lovely attack on the south side from Daywalker, hurting more of the economy again of rAndy. He hasn't noticed. If he can get this round and take out some of this Tech 2 energy production, then rAndy's going to be in a tough spot. Razorback's now out. Can shoot air. Going to deal with any shurikens that are on the field if they get close. Banishers still doing an amazing job here at dealing with any bulls that get too close. They will also deal with Tech 3 fairly well. 1 volley and that Razorback is half health. Razorback almost down. 24%. No units really there to stop this push on the south side. So we quickly switch over. Notice that the defenses are going down. Daywalker needs to keep pushing with his units. He's not paying attention. So that hesitation here just to get a couple of solars, and it's going to cost him that fight. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get much more from that. That is a shame. Meanwhile, a few pawns around the back line of Daywalker has caused him some issues as he's losing more solars. Meanwhile, there is a mass wave of pawns with 17k metal in the middle. That is a lot of metal. He's trying to get it with these engineers here. Did one Razorback did go down. That is a lot of metal to ingest in a very short time span. Again, quarter of that Banisher's health, Razorback's health, half of it in 1 volley. Another Razorback almost dead. 3,800 mil in that Razorback. But can he deal with a swarm of pawns coming right at Daywalker? Field of LLTs might be enough to save him, but Daywalker's commander in real trouble here. Not enough shurikens, I think, to stop this. Daywalker panicking, trying to run back. He may actually survive this just... Yes, he does. All of the pawns actually manage to get caught up, and we see the spawn of some Shivas on the field. Both players now at Tech 3. My goodness, what a 1v1 we have here. We see 3 Razorbacks on the field from rAndy, 1 Vanguard, another Razorback being built, 3 Shivas coming out from Daywalker. Shivas are very good Tech 3 units, got a lot of splash, long range missiles are going to be very good for dealing with Starlights. One advantage though that rAndy does have is he does have 4s. Whether we see a transition to 4s is another matter. But these Shivas are going down very quickly to the Razorbacks. And that is it. Daywalker calls GG after losing all of his units to that Razorback push. That is one hell of a 1v1. Great game from both players there. I hope you all enjoyed this 1v1 as much as I did. Don't forget to subscribe for more bar related content, and I'll see you guys next time.